Okay.
I'm always on, baby. We always do a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be surprising if we didn't
But
have a bunch of bullshit.
this episode we really have to fill for time, you know, because we've got an hour from only my research, because I don't know how much you.
No, I did some research.
Oh, you
too.
did some stuff.
You underestimate me always.
I think you told me earlier that you didn't have much.
No,
at
I
all.
told you you're gonna take the lead.
Okay.
Because this is clearly like your little baby.
My
of a chapter,
ballpark,
Exactly.
my choice.
Yeah. Like the same way, like we're gonna make a chapter about Chinese music, Chinese classical music.
Oh, I'm done for Chinese music.
Exactly.
It's just going to be really obscure indie bands that no one's ever heard of, but I'm like recommending.
Exactly, and I'm gonna talk like 2 hours about only you're gonna just have to shut up.
I'll be asleep on this side of the sofa.
Yes, I think I'm not gonna complain as long as you just don't mind me too much. So this is your chapter, this is your little baby of a project.
This is my little baby, yeah. So today, well, I didn't want to get straight into it, but we can, because we can talk for as long as we need to about it. Today's episode of The Days of Being Wild, I'm Alfie, that's Alvaro. I do keep nearly calling you Paolo.
No, you're not. Like for your own good, you're not
We're going to be
that.
discussing a lot of different things, like tangentially related to the Shanghai Grand Prix, which is on this weekend, and qualifying is in like half an hour, so we're probably going to miss it.
So you're gonna see it like in 2 hours, 2 weeks later than you should actually, but
we're going to record for 2 hours and miss the whole qualifying. But we're going to be talking about the history of the Shanghai International Circuit, where the Chinese Grand Prix is held and is being held this weekend, the 14th of March. And also what's with all like the Chinese F1 fans, where does China sit in global motorsport, and a lot of other like slightly tangentially related things. But what do you think about like Chinese motorsport and F1 and where all of this sits in your head?
I mean, if I have to say something about F1, there are like mostly two things in my head right now. First of all, three things. First of all, we have the rivalry between Hamilton and Fernando Alonso.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think this is it's the same dynamic that we have in this podcast exactly.
Right.
A British and a Spaniard, yes, supposedly on the same team.
And you're much older than me.
Supposedly on the same team and trying to cock-block each other every time they have a chance. I think that is mostly...
I wouldn't say I've ever tried to cock-block you. You just kind of go in my way, just like Hamilton and Alonso.
You didn't never try to cock-block me. Can you say... Can you be sure of that?
Yeah. I can swear on my mom's life.
Okay, whatever. So if we were Chinese, I think they would like be making a manhua about a yaoi manhua about.
Don't mention yaoi on the podcast. I'll censor it. I'll remove it.
Manhua about Hamilton and Alonso, which is not homoerotic at all.
I mean, that's a good point to jump off. It's like one of the main reasons that F1 has become more popular over the years here is as K-pop has kind of declined and like fancy singing boys have kind of declined. A lot of the young Chinese women have latched onto Netflix's like Drive to Survive and have started like rabidly watching F1. I would say one of the reasons for this is because F1 every single year brings about 20 of the like richest handsome guys into China for a week.
I don't even think they're all so handsome. Like,
no, definitely
some
not.
Exceptions. But I think the most defining factor, the most common factor between all of them is that they're rich, they're fucking loaded, and they're very autistic, most of them.
They have massive egos.
Yes, they have really big egos, like especially Hamilton. Like, well, you can see this guy.
They have a big aura of like celebrity around them, and a lot of them are like young men, like driving cars into each other, which... I mean, we're not avoiding the yaoi allegations on this one. I think we're going to have to talk about it.
You're going to censor that again. You're editing this podcast. Every time we say yaoi, it's just a censor for you.
The audio is going to cut out and there'll be some text up on the screen. But by far, the most popular driver in China is George Russell. And not just because he's successful this season, but because in previous seasons, he's always been seen as like... the young British guy with the very, very posh accent.
And he's quite handsome. He's Normatively handsome.
Which is surprising because outside of China, I think he's very, very unpopular, particularly in the UK.
He is popular, but as a meme mostly, as a being a Taliban. That's the whole thing.
The Taliban Mercedes meme has definitely picked up this year outside of China.
Being Russell, and I mean he deserves it. And that is one of the other two things that I had in my mind when it comes to Formula One. And the other one, it was the meme of Verstappen being akin to the animal from Ice Age.
Verstappen as the animal from Ice Age, but also as like the world's best driver, which I mean is kind of
debatable.
I don't know.
It's debatable.
In my head right now, Verstappen is the best driver. He's just in a bad car, which is probably going to be the case until he leaves and goes and does another sport.
Alonso is a much better driver. And he has he has a much worse car, that's the thing.
Not anymore. I would say that Verstappen has definitely like proved himself as...
No, I think like you cannot compare like Hamilton and Alonso to these guys because, I mean, they have the most experience out of all the roster right now.
Yeah.
So I think that also plays a same factor. And you can also tell it like when it's time to make a hard decision on the race, it's like these guys always pull like the most wise decisions on time, I guess.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with you that Hamilton and Alonso, two of the seniors, I don't know what you call old man Yowie, but that's what they are on the track. They have a lot more strategic...
Are we going to have like conversation now, like It's Always Sunny on Philadelphia, about what is the
bear and the otter and the... I don't think any of them...
The power bottom, yeah, I don't know
None of them are bears. There's definitely some otters, but there's mostly twinks. 90%.
Russell is twink. Verstappen is twink. Do you think Alonso is going to be a power bottom?
Hold on, you just said Verstappen is twink. There's going to be a lot of controversy about that.
I said what I said.
I'm trying not to argue it here, but
I think Alonso is a power bottom. I think he will be the one in like sharing the power.
Okay. Yeah? You can keep digging this hole for yourself.
Okay, I'm done with it. Yes.
I mean, all of these guys are straight, apart from allegedly Lando Norris. That's who all the F1 girlies think is definitely the closeted gay.
I trust the gaydar of Chinese girls, except for my girlfriend. Did I ever tell you that when she met me, she thought I was gay?
I think you might have mentioned it.
Which I mean, for the record, I have nothing against it. I just
when you're sitting on this side of the sofa, they can see your ear piercing, right?
Yes, I think so.
So it's been hiding from them up until now.
But I have it on the straight side, so you cannot use it against me on that way.
When I was growing up, no one could decide whether the right ear or the left ear was gay. So if you had an ear piercing,
it was like,
it's just kind of over for you.
For me, I never pay attention to that until when I chose to have a piercing. And
you had to
my friends were like, you have to choose the right one. I'm like, what do you mean? And I don't, of course I don't care about those like stupid stereotypes, but I was like, I just don't want to make any confusion, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want people like thinking I'm on the other side, just in case.
I think it's going to happen either way. I think it's something you have to come to terms with
especially here.
When you have long hair and a piercing.
Exactly, especially here. It happens a lot of times, and my girlfriend thought it, but she thought it because I was like, well, we also talk about it many times, about our like feminine traits.
Yeah, well, because we don't like exhibit toxic masculinity stuff like a lot of Chinese guys do.
Also, we are close to 180 and we know how to cook, just for the record.
That's true. We know how to cook.
People interested can just contact us directly.
I mean, across the rest of the field though, like just on the Yowie scale, I think that's where we're going to go. Like, for me, I see a very strong potential in the future for Antonelli. Like, it's a massive missed opportunity.
I haven't heard anything about him.
Because, in my opinion, he's objectively like, now he's of age, you're allowed to say. He's like the most attractive guy on the field.
Yeah.
He's also in the fastest car, but for some reason they just don't like him. I think his accent puts a lot of girls off. The accent is like 90% of it for people, which is why they like Russell a lot.
And for example, when Hamilton was on his peak, when he was with, was it Mercedes or Red Bull that took him to the peak?
His first peak, I think, was with Renault. I don't know how, and then Mercedes. Well, no, Mercedes was his peak because Mercedes was his peak. Mercedes is 20
because they had the best car.
It's 2013 until 2020.
Yes.
It's like 7 championships in a row, basically.
Yeah, but at that time when he was on the peak, no one even like really liked him so much.
No, British people do like him because it's difficult with British F1 fans because they're really annoying. They're very anti-woke. But every British champion, well, Lando Norris, no one likes Lando Norris. He's an unlikable British champion.
Yeah, definitely.
Lewis Hamilton at the start of his career was a massive underdog story. People did really like him. The only reason people stopped liking him is the same reason people stopped liking Verstappen, is they get to the end of their peak and everyone's bored of them and everyone wants the next guy to come along. So they see anyone else as an underdog and they're more likely to see like infractions from Hamilton as unfair. At the end of
he did was unfair many times.
Yeah, exactly, but they all have.
Can you say something bad about Alonso? When has Alonso been bad?
Alonso hasn't peaked since like 2005.
Fuck off.
I'm a very recent F1 fan.
No, he peaked after that.
He did win a few races after that, that's true.
He won a few races like 2 years ago. He had some podiums.
In my opinion, if you're a competitive F1 driver, you always bend the rules.
You should, but not in a way that is like anti-sportive. You know what I mean?
No, I don't care.
I think
we're going to go into the reasons why we like F1 in a bit, but for me, it is entirely about the fact that the drivers are all pieces of shit. Their bosses are some of the scummiest people on earth. There's so much fucking dirty money in the sport that it's basically corrupt. And it's funny because it's kind of, in my opinion, it's kind of the only sport where everything is corrupt apart from the driving itself. Like, the driving itself seems to mostly be fair. And since 2021, I don't think there's been any very legitimate allegations against the stewards, the referees in F1 for corruption.
Against the referees, no. But I mean, one of the things that I don't like about F1 is like, a big part of it is not like 90% of it is decided by the car you have. You can be the best driver on the roster, like it has been many times, and if you have the shitty car, you're not gonna ever make a podium. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. You can maybe fight. Your fight is to have either the 5th or the 10th position. You're not gonna fight for the first one.
If you want to watch an interesting sport, don't watch F1, because half of the seasons that
you know what is gonna happen at the beginning of the season, yeah.
So this season we're one race in, and we already know that Mercedes is basically gonna carry it all the way to the end, and George Russell's basically been handed the drivers' champion, the award for the best driver, the driver with the most points already after one race, because we've seen how fast the Mercedes car is compared to everything else, and that's why I like the sport. I don't think it should be fair. I think
it should be more fair. Like a couple years ago, it was Red Bull who was dominating, and it was like massive difference between them. It was like whole seconds between Red Bull and the second team.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not entertaining when you already know before the start begins who is gonna win.
No, it's not entertaining.
And maybe the surprise is, maybe Red Bull comes in instead of the first position, comes to the second. Okay, the next car, they're gonna be the next the next race, they're gonna be the first one. I think if they all were given like the same car,
then no one would watch it.
It will be much more interesting.
No, you can go and watch other racing series where they are all given the same car.
No, because I mean, imagine if you're watching a football match and they're like, okay, this team is playing with the best like boots that you can find on the market, and these guys are playing barefoot. Or like if one of the teams is like given like a Super Mario powers, like a Super Mario football game, and the other one is like 5-year-old kids.
Exactly.
It's not funny.
No, coughing baby versus atom bomb. That's what Formula One is.
Exactly.
That's why I like it.
But that factor, the factor of who has the hydrogen bomb and who has the coughing baby, is decided only by money.
No, because there's a cost cap. It's decided by talent. The cost cap, you know about the cost cap.
Now, can you explain it to me? I know more or less. The
cost cap is literally a maximum amount of the money that you're allowed to spend before the season starts on the development of your car. And it's very thoroughly investigated. And Mercedes, when in their last season where they were dominant, so 2020 or 2021, they exceeded the cost cap and they were fined massively because of it, because it was kind of blatant that they exceeded the cost cap. This year, people are already accusing of Mercedes exceeding the cost cap, but I don't think that's the case. I think it's simply the case that Mercedes does have the best engineering talent. The other factor...
Aston Martin has an Niue. The Niue is the best designer.
No, but they don't have the engine. Aston Martin has a...
Exactly, because they have Honda, but what I mean is like you can have one of the best engineers in the whole field, and still you have a bad engine. You're off.
He's not really operating as an engineer anymore. He's operating as the team principal. What the fuck does Adrian Newey know about human resources, for example? I'm talking about someone that graduated from the same university as me. I'm certain he's an expert on aerodynamics and he's got a very funny face, but I'm not sure he's in the right position.
He was working his ass off last year to trying to get like a competitive design.
Yeah,
he was working overtime every day.
And then he's been fucked over by Honda.
Exactly.
And now they have the slowest car.
Exactly. So that's what I mean. You have a brilliant mind working behind one of the teams, and just because they have chosen a shitty engine.
It is a sport that perfectly represents capitalism, where even when you intentionally try to level the playing field, the team with the inherent advantages is always going to win.
Exactly. So that's what I mean.
Well, I'm not saying you have to watch every race. I'm saying why I like the sport is because it's a perfect metaphor for life. And you get to watch so many people cry when their favorite driver doesn't win because his car breaks down on the first lap.
But if I wanted to have a metaphor for life, I would just live my life.
Yeah, okay. But it's cathartic. It's the same reason you watch a tragedy, you know? When there's big peaks and there's low lows, it feels genuine. If everyone's on a level playing field and the underdog wins, then there's not much exciting about it. When Nico Hülkenberg gets on the podium last season, a guy who has like never been on the podium and is the
longest, that was really funny.
Yeah, and it's more valuable because the playing field is not level. It is 100% rigged against him.
Okay, yeah, I get that point. I respect that. Yeah, I can share that point.
So like a perfect microcosm of this before we get into China. And the reason why China kind of plays into this tragedy, this like capitalist tragedy that I love, is Australia last weekend. The homeboy Oscar Piastri, he crashes his car on the reconnaissance lap, which is before the
qualies, no?
No. It's after. Oh, is it? Is it before I think it was before qualification, qualies. So the reconnaissance lap, he's not even supposed to be driving at full speed. He's literally just supposed to be driving around the track, checking his car works. And because of the new regulations, his battery gives him a boost of power and he slams the car into a wall. So he's out of the race before he can even qualify. And he's like the one everyone came out to see. The entire stands are packed with people wearing this guy's merch. And he's out of the race before it starts.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So to move on to China, this is held in March or April every year. The China Grand Prix is held in Shanghai, the Shanghai International Circuit. Maybe we should go into the boring bits of the track, the actual racing stuff, and then talk about like the bits that we like. But the Shanghai track is shaped like the character Shang. Did you know that?
I was about to say, like, you took one of my notes. I was about to say that. No. And it was designed by a German guy.
Hermann Tilke, whose Wikipedia I have up right now. Hermann Tilke, I want to say like Tilke. He has basically...
You're trying to make it like more racist.
Yeah. You can be racist against Germans, it's okay.
Yeah.
Put that in the trailer. He's actually designed like 90% of the new F1 tracks.
Really?
The most recent track he designed is like the Vegas Strip, and he's a controversial character, even though he's obviously not designing these things personally. Like he's designing them with a committee, and when there's this much like dirty money in the sport, he's probably not doing that much. Like the Vegas Grand Prix like goes around the sphere. I'm sure that wasn't his choice.
No, you can bet your eyes it wasn't. But when you said like the Vegas Strip, I was just thinking of follow New Vegas. So yeah, I'm sorry. That is the whole cultural relevance of Vegas.
Some people blame him for making the sport more boring because... What? I don't know if this was his fault, but because he's designed so many of the tracks have similar corners and similar designs. Some old F1 drivers have basically said he's taken all the fun out of the sport because they used to be driving in like death traps and like fucking...
Exactly, yeah. You're playing on a Mario Kart truck, so no, of course...
They coined my new favorite word for any track built after like 2001 is the Tilkedrome. It's like just put his surname and then DROME after it is the name they give for like a boring modern F1 track. But I think this accusation comes from the fact that we have so many more stringent safety regulations and there's so much more money in the sport.
Yes.
The Shanghai International Circuit is kind of unique. So it started construction in 2002, and it was one of the only newer ones that was not built on an aerodrome, like not built on an old airfield, and was kind of built on
a swamp.
A swamp. rice fields in a swamp.
Yeah, they had to build like a massive structures, like concrete structures beneath to support it. And still, I heard they still have troubles with the track sinking.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was the thing. When I was doing my research for this, I was like, oh my God, Shanghai's International Circuit. I was picturing it in my head, like 2,000 villagers evicted and sent into the city to make way for the...
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry about it.
It's abandoned, not abandoned, it was just fucking rice fields. It was literally rice fields before they built it, and there's not too much interesting unless you're a civil engineer who's extremely into soil subsidence.
It was not a case like Beijing 2008 when you're preparing for the Olympic Games.
And I was thinking more about it, and I was like, yeah, when you build a big airport in the countryside and you have to demolish 2 villages to build it, that makes sense because an airport is bigger, it's more expensive, and it usually has very, very large buildings and hangars and terminals attached to it. The more research I've done into an F1 circuit, it's 90% of the time you put the track down and then you put like pre-constructed grandstands up, and then you just have to build the ticket entrances, the garages, and a massive shopping center or a train station attached to it.
The other thing is like if you build an airport, you have to like demolish 2 villages to make room for it, but also like the villages surrounded it, they're not gonna be, you're not gonna build immediately close to it either because of all the noise, or like you're going to create a very different ecosystem around it in a negative way. On a F1 track, I think it's like the opposite case. You have many more commerces around it because, maybe if you have noise, it's like, 3 days a year. Fine, you can deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, it gave them a lot of freedom to do what they want. So Herman Tilke is accused of being a very boring track designer. The Shanghai track is one of the weirdest ones we have. It starts off with a 270-degree right-hand turn. So you turn back on yourself over this kind of like weird like J shape. And it's one of the hardest corners in the F1 calendar because the radius of the corner, how tight the corner is, changes as you get all the way around.
I was about to say that like they're accusing this guy of making like really boring tracks, and I think like a track plotted like a Shang character is really hard and really interesting to like navigate,
Yeah, he's supposed to. He says that when he does his designs, he tries to incorporate the culture of the area, which I don't know, for Shanghai he might have made a big dollar sign and left
might
it
as
like
well.
That.
I mean, he has put half of the name of the city. Fine.
One of the coolest things with the Shanghai track, you can see this in some of the promo videos that we're going to watch later, and I'm going to include in this, is behind the garages where they would normally have. They have like a sectioned off part of the track, like the paddocks, right, for the drivers and all the teams and all the staff. They built a giant like tea pavilion.
Yes, it's all.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful. It's one of the most like crazy things to imagine, like a peaceful tea pavilion dead center of an F1 track.
I think that is also like a component that goes through most of the new buildings in the whole country, in China. I mean, when they're trying to build, in this case, an F1 track or whatever thing that you may think that is like something associated with something very recent or very modern, they still try to incorporate some concepts of the local culture. I'm not talking local culture like of the whole country, but of the specific region or specific city that you're in. And it also makes everything feel more unique, If you build something, if they had built an F1 track in Chengdu, I can bet my ass off it will be like panda themed or something like that.
Yeah. So, I think it's interesting though as well because, I mean, something we'll get onto is like, I keep talking about dirty money in F1, and China is like one of the earlier tracks where the F1 is like, F1 is like, we're going to put a Grand Prix in a country that we don't have great relations with and has like a lot of accusations against them. And it's like, well, that involved in like dirty money. And then they build this track, and it doesn't have like a fuck off, like huge Ferris wheel like Abu Dhabi does, or it doesn't have some stupid skyscraper, or like
Abu Dhabi is
something really obnoxious. It's not like the golf money or like Trump money or like Vegas, the sphere like that we're talking about. It's a tea pavilion. It's so strange to me. It like juxtaposes with like the garishness and like.
Exactly, it's functional also.
It's
beautiful. It's good to look at it. You can, even if you didn't have an F1 track around, you were like, okay, yeah, I want to go to that place to take a look around, you know?
Yeah, and it's based on the Yuyuan Tea Pavilions, which is an ancient garden from like the 11th or 12th century.
Yes.
Built by I can't remember if it's an emperor or if it's just an official, but it's built by someone who failed the imperial examination and he wanted to build something for his parents.
Which is also very thematically paired with the thing of having an F1 track in Shanghai.
Yeah, failing the imperial examination is the equivalent of like, you know, doing like go-karting tours and like failing your GCSEs. Well, the 12th century Zhou Guanyu.
It would be even more telling if it was like a MotoGP track. Like, yeah, I wanted to go to F1, but I just could afford a motorbike.
After a few corners and like a hairpin, it has one of the longest straights in the F1 calendar. It has this 1,170 meter long straight, which I've heard on another F1 podcast is long enough to land a plane. I'll shout out the podcast because I can't stop shouting our podcast, but on the Shift F1 podcast, the funniest thing in that discussion though is it's basically three like aviation nerds or like flight sim nerds also talking about F1. So one of them
that is essentially us, I mean.
But one of them claims, oh yeah, the straight is long enough to land a plane on, and they get into a fucking argument about what planes they could legally land on it.
You can land a plane on it, which one?
Yeah.
Because I think it's very different if you're talking about a C-130 or if you're talking about a Cessna. I think in a Cessna, you could land a Cessna 3 or 4 times.
When
we
were doing our human-powered aircraft flights, we used to take off and land on a runway that was about 1.5 kilometers long. So
yeah, man.
Yeah. I think it's another thing though where like this podcast they want to get distracted by whether you can land a plane on this thing, and we're getting distracted later by the party secretary of Shanghai. So the track started construction in July 2002. January 2003, they had already prepared the site. That was when they put in the foundations and like, you know, dug up these rice paddies and put in concrete. In March 2004, the track was completed. So that's basically less than 2 years. It's a year and a half to build an F1 track.
Is that a standard time for an F1 track?
I think it would take longer in Europe. I mean,
everything will take longer to build in Europe, that's for sure. But
one of the things I thought though is it costs 450 million or 300 to 450 million dollars.
Doesn't sound a lot.
It doesn't sound like a lot. Your Madrid cost 80 million, so it costs way more than that, which I'm surprised about.
80 million, the one in Madrid.
Yeah.
Which one? The Jarama or
the Madrid, the new one?
The one that they're building.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that is like an urban.
It's a street circuit.
It's going to be an urban circuit, so it doesn't have any merit, you know?
I think the capacity is 20,000. I read somewhere that it's 40,000, but I don't know if that's realistic.
What do you mean the capacity?
The seating capacity for spectators.
Oh, I have no idea. I just know that everyone hates it.
It's also
for
probably
good reason.
Something that they upgrade every year, like, and they keep putting shit seats in.
Well, I guess for an urban circuit, you have like very much more limited capacity of like increasing the seating.
Yeah. No, I mean the Shanghai one has 20,000.
Oh yeah, the Shanghai one. Yeah. I thought you were.
It's also one of the cheapest GPs to go to by quite a long way.
Like, it's in China.
The Asian ones, with the exception of Singapore, I think Japan and China are the cheapest ones to go to, which is quite cool because it means that one day we'll be there.
I really want to see the prices in Madrid.
Yeah. Oh God, I don't know.
No. Like, I don't want to see it like because I want to go. I want to see because I really want to know like how big the money laundering machine that they are like building right now is gonna be. Because I can like really see something like in the range of 800 euros just to go see an urban track.
Yeah.
On a Sunday. That wouldn't be crazy for them.
The actual location of the Shanghai International Circuit is in Jiading district, which is on the like north suburbs of Shanghai.
I have something here, yes.
Yeah, and I don't think it takes too long to get there. It's probably about as long as it takes to get to our campus in the north of Beijing. But one of the interesting things is obviously you built this Shanghai International Circuit in the sticks. as the city's expanding. And since 2004, when the first race was, slowly more and more tower blocks have been creeping up in the background of all the shots. And every year, people compare the skyline of the Shanghai International Circuit to what it was like in 2004. And the funniest part is, so you get these tower blocks, like 2004, there's nothing. 2012, you can see like the construction sites start to pop up. 2020, some of them are like finished. And then like 2025, you can see like finished tower blocks all around the Shanghai circuit.
That's super cool.
The residents of these tower blocks are always complaining about the noise, like you said. And it's
but you know where you're buying it.
Surprisingly, a common problem worldwide is people that live next to F1 circuits don't like living next to an F1 circuit, which is so strange to me.
But you decide where you buy it. You
yeah,
know?
But that was one of the reasons why they didn't want to upgrade to what is it, V8s or V12s and bin the battery this year, is because those are so noisy that you need ear protection when you're in the stands.
Okay, yes, but it kind of reminds me the opposite case of what we have in Madrid now with the Santiago Bernabeu, the Real Madrid stadium. Like they have made a much bigger stadium and they're using it now much more for concerts.
Yeah.
Very big concerts. And it's in the middle of the city. So you have like tower blocks, like just 100 meters away from it, not even 100 meters. So of course the neighbors are really raising the complaints because when they started living there, they didn't expect like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have a football match every week. That's fine, but they weren't counting on having like 2 concerts a week on a working day. You know, with all the lights and all the sound and everything. Yeah. But this is completely the opposite case. When they decided to live there, they knew
where
it was, you know?
And also, I mean, Chinese motorsports is not that massive. Like, they have Formula Asia and Formula 4 China and a lot of, like, motorbike racing and other kind of smaller series. But most of the year, the Shanghai International Circuit is empty. I mean, some of the interesting photos I'm going to be including are like basically the abandoned Shanghai International Circuit the rest of the year.
And you don't have noise at night, it's only like...
No, the races are very early compared to other races. I mean, we're going to miss the qualifying because it's on at 3 p.m. Whereas like, that's local time. And and in other parts of the world, they have their local races at like 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. or even 10 p.m. To like make it more palatable to Europeans and Americans watching on TV.
Yeah, so can you take like a couple hours of noise every week?
Also, I mean, I would watch the race. Like if I had a window facing the race.
You can take like your binoculars, like take a look
put the TV on and then get some binoculars. The like photos from the early 2000s when it's open are like peak China aesthetics. So over the first few years, there were some really, really good races there. So in 2004, I mean, the races from 2004 until 2009 are all in September and October. So they're at the start, at the end of the season, because they were paying the most money to host the race in China at that point. And the races at the end of the season are comparatively worth more because sometimes the championship is decided there and more people tune in. The first one was won by an Italian racer called Rubens Barrichello, who I've never heard of because I wasn't into F1 at the time. But in 2005, your favorite Fernando Alonso wins and you get this amazing...
I was about to search for the video, yes.
We're going to put this on. This is fantastic.
We are the champions! We are the champions!
That's why everyone loves him.
Yeah, he's great. He's fantastic.
He's really cringy.
We love Fernando.
Also, I'm really surprised. You can see the quality of the air, how bad it is in this video.
Yeah. Even
for Shanghai.
Yeah.
Then we're not even talking about Beijing.
I mean,
shitty air levels.
There's another thing with the air quality where because they're hosting the races in September and October.
Yeah.
For the like first 5 years of the track. They always rained massively every single fucking time. And then after 2009, when they change it to March and April, they get barely any rain because it's kind of in Shanghai's more...
it's always raining there.
Yeah. In 2006, Michael Schumacher's final victory takes place in the Shanghai circuit. In 2007, in Lewis Hamilton's first season, he basically aces the race. He's in like first position for most of the race, and then he slides into the gravel while trying to get into the pits.
Deserved.
On his first season at the end, and it kind of costs him the Drivers' Championship, which is just, I think it's, up there with one of the most like gutting. Like,
He deserved it.
But you said that you don't like it when a driver loses for something unfair. Like sliding into the gravel on your pit entry is just
But I think
tragic.
in this case it's fair. He deserved it.
If you don't like Lewis Hamilton, this is a bad circuit for you. 2008, one of Lewis Hamilton's first few wins. In his second season, he wins the Shanghai Grand Prix, and then he wins the next race, and that's him securing the Drivers' Championship in his second season. Basically, this is, though, in 2009, when you start to get a lot more oil money in F1, like Aramco and everyone starts barging in. And because of all these Gulf states starting to buy up really expensive slots, the Abu Dhabi, I think it is, pushes Shanghai out of the end of the racing season and pushes Shanghai right towards like the first few races, which makes it a bit less climactic, but does make it a great season starter.
No, definitely not.
People are driving new cars and then they have to do a fucking 270-degree right-hand corner when they've barely had like 2 practice sessions. Later in F1, they would introduce this thing called the sprint race, where they run like a mini race on Saturday, which is like a quarter of the number of laps.
I was about to say, like, it sounds like a very complicated circuit to begin a season with.
Exactly. I mean, this is the season where that's been most exemplified, because everyone's fucking crashing out on the first corner, and it's very funny. Just earlier today, we had a clip of Kimi Antonelli, just doing his favorite thing, just dive bombing into. I think he crashes into Ocon. That's a great clip, and everyone's responding with Kimi Bintonelli on the thing. 2009 is the first Red Bull 1-2 ever, which is really funny thinking back on it now, like how many Red Bull 1-2s we've had.
Yes, to be honest. Wait, the first one only in 2009?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I think they probably had a few victories before that, but 2009 Shanghai.
How many did we have since then?
No, I think.
How many did we have 2 years ago?
No, Red Bull's 100th victory, 100th first place is also in Shanghai much later. There's 2010 where you get one of the best clips ever. Just the most incredible failure. So what we're watching is in slow motion now is a clip of a driver heading along the
Sebastian Wemmings.
Yeah, heading along the very start of the track, and both of his wheels pop off his car at the same time.
How does it start?
I think the suspension breaks, and simultaneously both his right and left tires launch off, and he just flies into the gravel. And it's like no one has ever been able to replicate losing the entire front of the car
I like how he's still trying to to move the wheel. Dude, don't even try. Dude, I'm thinking now.
I've not got much after this because I've only started watching F1 adjacently in 2021. 2011, Hamilton's second win. This is the first time a driver wins twice, but Red Bull completely dominate that season, so
it was fair, yeah.
2012, Nico Rosberg, first win in 111 races, which I think is a record only beaten by Magnussen later. 2013, another Alonso.
When Alonso wins one race next year, he's gonna be the record.
He's gonna retire immediately after.
We have been praying for 3 years already for the 33rd.
I hope it's Shanghai 2027 Alonso
it's gonna
win,
happen.
And he goes, "We are the champion," and bins the car into a wall, gets out, goes straight.
Goes straight and shoots himself in the head.
2014, the Mercedes season starts and we get a 1-2 Mercedes win with Hamilton. 2015, exactly the same. 2016, in the first 2 seconds, Sebastian Vettel and Dani Kvyat crash into each other and this like ruins the whole race.
Do you have the video of that one?
No, well, I can put it in. It's not an interesting one. 2017, Hamilton wins, but because everyone hates him by this point, everyone's celebrating Verstappen jumping from 16th to 3rd.
They would have been celebrating for the same, even if they didn't hate him, you know?
One of the reasons why I think Verstappen is one of the best drivers we've ever had is because he consistently now jumps from like the back of the grid to a podium or like the top 5. And because it's boring, it happened last week in Australia. He started from the pits and ended up in like 6th.
But that is why like we like so much Alonso, because he does that like consistently.
Yeah.
Like he starts in the last places and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna finish like 5th or 7th. Of course I'm not gonna win, but dude, I just climbed up like 19 positions, you know. Like,
2018, Danny Ricciardo, who is one of my closest friends' favorites for whatever reason, he wins. I think he retires in 2024. 2019, Hamilton wins again. And then we get the pandemic, and we do not see the Chinese Grand Prix between 2019 and 2024. And this is enough time. It's really funny. 2019 is the end. Well, 2020 is the end, but 2019, 2020 is the end of Mercedes dominance and the beginning of Red Bull dominance. And by the time we get back to 2024, Red Bull have almost stopped being dominant, and McLaren is back.
Didn't Red Bull was still dominating in 2023?
Yes, Red Bull was dominating in 2023.
Yes, yeah.
No, McLaren's first good season was 2024, I think. 2024, we introduced the amazing character of Zhou Guanyu, who we're going to be talking about a bit. This is his, I think it's 2024 or 2025. I might mix these up. It's not important anyway. If the F1 fans complain, I don't care. But it's his first home race. He manages to make 9th in the sprint and 16th in the main race. Zhou Guanyu is in a shit car, and he's also a mediocre driver. He's very mid. One of the good things about 2024 is Sergio Perez's last podium. It is a very good race to watch. I actually recommend the 2024 Chinese Grand Prix. 2025, Ferrari wins the sprint. And then this is like in the middle. This is the worst Ferrari season in years and years and years. 2025 is the funniest Ferrari season. Every Ferrari fan is talking about killing themselves, and they win the sprint race, and then they get double disqualifications for the actual Grand Prix.
Why? What happened?
Plank wear. No, plank wear on Hamilton's car, and
Deserved.
Leclerc's car is underweight, and also I think Norris's car is also underweight, which means that Piastri gets the win, and I love Piastri. So, after this, like Ferrari just doesn't win anything, and
for whatever reason, yeah.
Yeah, and the double disqualifications happens very rarely. I think the time before this happened, the last double disqualification was in like 1999, and that team disputed it and then got it overturned. So. It's just a massive Ferrari.
Like exactly, how do you have to fuck up so bad to have like all your drivers disqualified?
Well, I think they knew how shit the car was. They just ran it really low. It also exemplifies how stupid the last era of F1 was, where the lower you ran the car, the faster you went, and that's just how you won. 2026, we're seeing the return of Mercedes dominance. Yesterday was the sprint qualifying. This morning was the sprint race, and it's Mercedes 1-2. Verstappen got up to 9th and then bitched about it for like an hour to the press afterwards.
Shut up.
Qualifying's on right now. You can see how everyone's doing.
Let me see. Yes.
But yeah, so that brings us to like the audience. Like we talked a little bit about Chinese F1 fans. They are pretty split though. It's 50% girls, 50% guys. The girls are all like the biggest fujoshis ever. They're obsessed with George Russell and Leclerc, like we said. And they've been following the F1 drivers around China.
Who do you think won the sprint?
I know who won the sprint. I just put it in. Russell won the sprint.
Okay, yes.
And Antonelli got a 10-second penalty, and he came second.
And Ferrari look out P2 and P3 with Leclerc and Hamilton.
We're on 48 minutes, and I'm not even halfway through my notes. I thought this was going to be a filler episode.
I told you we were going to talk for much more. We still have to talk about the tricky stuff.
What we're on now is what the Ferrari fans have been following what the F1 fans have been following the F1 drivers doing in China. So here we have the Cadillac drivers, which includes Checo Perez, Valtteri Bottas, and Zhou Guanyu, who are just the three biggest shit
It's
posters.
called 剑指营销. Now we do a lot of this in the park, having a little game between the people and the friends. So let's see how they get on. I'm not very good. So.
So this is a rich Shanghai kid trying to play Jianzi and massively fucking up.
I think it's the first time he played or something.
Yeah.
So you didn't play a lot.
And Checo Perez calls Zhou Guanyu a fake Chinese.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's pretty hard.
Valtteri Bottas gives it one go.
It's like these Chinese kids who go abroad to study in America.
And Checo Perez says, I know how to do it. And he just fucking kicks it into the water. Says, game over, goodbye. Very proud of himself. And then he fucks up.
Checo Perez is the kind of guy that is really proud of himself for fucking up everything.
So the whole thing with Cadillac is they are a very marketing heavy team, and they
Yeah.
have just been doing marketing the whole time in China because they had Zhou Guanyu. And this is Checo after making a million marketing vids. Enough is enough. Kicking this shit in the water. Let me drive my car.
Yeah, I think Checo is not a very like marketing friendly guy.
Valtteri Bottas enjoys cycling in Shanghai. That's as far as I can tell all he enjoys doing.
Again, Alonso, very marketing friendly guy. Even if he doesn't know it, he's just like very cringy.
Yeah.
But in a friendly way, in a wholesome way. So no one can really complain about it. He's just like, he's a boomer.
Yeah.
He's essentially a boomer.
The Cadillac team is interesting because before this season, they were the new team,
Yeah.
and everyone expected them to be really shit, and they were trying to find their drivers.
Mm.
So they secured Bottas very early on, and then they secured Perez, and they were looking for their reserve driver. And the internal notes at Cadillac, have I been saying McLaren?
Yes.
I meant Cadillac. I'm going to put the thing over it. Their internal memos all said, we need an American driver because we're an American team. And people say, just hire Zhou Guanyu. Like, he's mid, but he's cheap. And they were saying, we cannot have a Chinese driver in our American team. And lo and behold, they realized that the Chinese advertising money is very, very good. So they took him as a reserve driver.
Yeah, they can change their mind in the middle of the whole season. Why not?
They've been doing, a lot of marketing in China, but not as much as some of the other teams. So Alpine has been running a shit ton of fan events. Haas, surprisingly, has been basically doing like fan meetups every single day. But the smart drivers have all been going very heavy on the domestic Chinese marketing, including George Russell, who has done a joint advertisement with whoever this guy is. You're going to love this. Where George Russell is driving one of the famous like Kwai delivery trucks, and they've stuck a little Mercedes Adidas logo on it, which is just.
What is it? Oh yeah, it's Link. I didn't see that.
It
one
looks
bit.
like it's made out of
Yeah, exactly.
something very bad. He also has been doing videos like this. Can I unmute?
It's really fitting for them to do like the marketing on Facebook. It's really boomer too.
Well, this is across all their socials.
Why George Russell is the most popular F1 driver
This
in
is
China?
the Chinese fans fujoing out.
They've got a really good figure of me as well. Oh, I like this one. The British booty assassin. Russell's face is
It's the
quite
most
literally
twin thing he could have ever said.
These Chinese girls are simping very, very hard
His
for
eyes
him.
are hypnotic. He looks at everyone with such deep, so stern.
He has fucking terrifying eyes.
Yes.
Who wouldn't feel a bit dizzy? His infectious energy is ranked #1 on the grid. My legs have been big though.
There you go.
He's not like that handsome, you know?
And also his helmet design, which I'm going to put in, is been praised internationally, but absolutely shat on by the Chinese audience.
Yeah, what? I think it's horrible.
It's supposed to be blue china, like blue porcelain, but it does look very AI generated, I'm going to say.
Exactly.
And also they gave him like the wrong Chinese name, apparently.
Yes, I think so. And also because you have like so many things on top, you cannot really identify that it's supposed to imitate like Chinese, China.
Yeah.
Shanghai, China, you know? It's like, I see what they're trying to do, but...
And then we were talking about the Yuyuan Gardens. Cola Pinto, both of our least favorite, I think. The Argentinian.
Yeah, because he's
guy.
Argentinian.
He got filmed going around the Yuyuan Gardens, the ones that the tea gardens are based off of. and it was supposed to be friendly marketing material, but they basically caught him like perving on all the girls.
No.
So he's like, every young woman that walks past him, he's just like doing the fucking meme and turning around and looking at them.
I mean, he's Argentinian.
He's
He doesn't know
Argentinian.
better.
He
He doesn't know
doesn't know
better. Like
And it
this.
is his first. I don't know when he was signed.
I think it's the second. I think it's his second season in Shanghai.
It might be his second. I would have to check that.
Yeah.
But I think it might be his. It's definitely his first time where they've let him walk around outside of the track, because that guy is a fucking menace. He should not be out and about in China.
No, because I think he's. First of all, they're all like F1 drivers, so like you're having a handicap to the IQ in general.
Yeah.
And then he's Argentinian, so you're like that counts like 3 handicaps more. Like his IQ must be on like minus a normal distribution 2, at least. So saying like he has a 78, it will be like really
I want
generous.
to check his like Formula 3 and Formula 2 records to see if he had any like traumatic head injuries.
I wouldn't rule it out.
But the driver who has gotten the most clout in China this season by a long, long way is Lewis Hamilton, because, and you're gonna love this, he has actually been avoiding tourist sites. He's not done much marketing at all, apart from one very obnoxious event, which I'm not going to tell you about because it would make you pissed off.
Yeah, please tell me. I want to piss off. I want to like.
Hamilton has been seen riding horses in Jiuzhaigou in Sichuan without any media presence, with his mum, who wanted to go there.
Okay, that's wholesome. Yeah.
And they went to a monastery, and they've just been drinking tea and going around parks. They haven't done any marketing.
I have nothing against that.
I think this is the smartest thing you can do in China as an international celebrity, is be seen somewhere rural. Don't do the creepy fan events. Don't be reading fan mail. Don't be doing really dodgy marketing.
Exactly, yes.
Just go ride horses with your mom and the Chinese.
Let yourself be seen, like doing things that Chinese people do, essentially. That's all.
I'm 90% sure his mom chose the destination too.
Yeah.
Because she is like...
I mean, but they don't understand like the Chinese market.
No, they absolutely don't. So the only team that maybe understands the Chinese market is McLaren, because they basically sold their brand to Taobao.
Yes.
And the Taobao presumably gave them a lot of money, because the Taobao delivery driver's outfit and the McLaren racing outfit look very
They're really similar. That is really sick. I love it.
Yeah. I'm trying to find more stuff about baby boy Lewis Hamilton.
This is a Tibetan village in Jiuzhaigou. Yeah.
They visited Tibet and Jiuzhaigou. Come on.
Yeah, that's really wholesome. I have nothing against it.
Wholesome.
Yeah, even if it's Lewis Hamilton, I have nothing against it. It's really respectful and really wholesome overall, yeah.
If they include the art gallery thing, I'm going to... No, that's not the art gallery. Lewis Hamilton also has a art gallery he funded, and it's entirely fan art of him. So that's pretty bad.
That's really fucking bad.
But I don't think his mum went with him there. And
See, that's really fucking bad.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna have anything beautiful in this world.
But we've been talking about the internationals and them making a big splash.
I also like I don't know if you saw it like 2 or 3 years ago, like the whole Aston Martin marketing was based around all the memes about Fernando Alonso winning his 33rd.
I nearly skipped Fernando Alonso. He's very popular in China because the older male demographic, I think, like him a lot.
He's handsome for the standard here, apparently.
Yeah.
More than some of the younger guys.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. He's seen as a senior. I think also people respect him a lot more.
I also realized that many of the drivers, the young drivers, don't have the stereotypical body that older or more experienced drivers used to have, like really thick neck, for example. Like you see George Russell, he's a twink, completely. you cannot find a pound of muscle on his neck. And then you have an Alonso, which is built like he has like my leg.
No, have you seen Oliver Behrman's neck?
Who's?
Oliver Behrman.
No.
Okay, well, I'll show you after we record, because Oliver Behrman is like, he's funny. But we want to talk about Zhou Guanyu. So Zhou Guanyu is the first Chinese F1 driver. He raced and he had a seat for 3 seasons in this absolute fucking disaster of a team, Kick, Stake, Sauber, Alfa Romeo from 2024.
Alfa Romeo, that was bad, yeah.
From 2022 until 2024. His background is a bit funny. Maybe we don't have time. He's just a privileged kid. They all are. There's nothing special about it. But
He's rich, fine.
He moved. Yeah, he's a rich kid from Shanghai. He moved to Sheffield at age 8, and he went to a very posh school in the UK called Westbourne School, which costs £7,000 a year to go to. Which actually, for British private school, doesn't seem that bad.
No, it doesn't seem too bad, yeah.
He was in the karting world championship for 1 year alongside Lando Norris. He raced in F2 for 3 seasons, which I think is quite a long time to be in F2, alongside some real stinkers like Latifi and De Vries, but also Tsunoda and Piastri. He graduated the same year as Piastri from F2 into F1. His F1 career has been uneventful, I would say. There was one time he nearly died at Silverstone in 2022 because of George Russell not looking in his mirrors, which is one of the reasons we don't like George Russell. But he was saved by like the halo, which is this part of the car that kind of goes in front of your head and protects you.
They started putting it because another guy died.
Yes.
Yes, because of the lack of it.
Yeah. It seems like an obvious design choice in retrospect.
I was also thinking like, why don't they put that earlier? And many people, the year that they put it, were complaining about it.
Yes.
And
no, I can remember my fellow aerospace engineers and undergraduate complaining about the halo.
No, they were complaining not only about the aerodynamics, they were complaining about the visibility.
It's mostly.
And then you can see that all the brands were super happy about it because it meant like more visibility to put ads from the cameras, from the POV. So we're like, okay, fine.
I think the main moment in Zhou Guanyu's career was in 2024 when he got to race in Shanghai, and he did this big thing where he like cried in front of all the cameras and like waved at the home fans, which I think was actually like kind of emotionally affecting. But the problem was he did finish in like 16th, so undermines it a bit.
He finished.
he didn't DNF. He didn't crash on the reconnaissance
maybe
track.
that's why he was crying.
There's another F1 driver in the F1 Academy, which is the female-only series where they drive F4 cars around the same track, but they call it F1 Academy. She is called Shui. She's an interesting character. She's been racing for 2 years for this team called High Tech. No one knows how old she is. There's nothing online about her birthday. They're guessing she's probably early 30s, which makes her way older than everyone else on the track. The current leader is an Italian girl who's 17.
Wow.
But I don't know. This is a nice effort to like get women involved in F1, but like this is a fake series. Like one of the drivers' costume is basically her seat is bought by Lego.
Okay, yeah, that's really fake. I'm sorry.
But the real character of our story, the one we want to end on, is the guy who was responsible for building the Shanghai International Circuit, the party secretary of Shanghai from 2001 to 2003, a guy by the name Chen Liangyu, who has a very, very storied career. After some time in the PLA, he rose very quickly up the ranks of the Communist Party and became the party secretary of Shanghai in 2001, which is like, it's like the mayor. But the problem is there's a lot of other communist powerful people who come from Shanghai too. This guy's born in Ningbo, and then other people born around the area form what they call the Shanghai clique, which is kind of an on and off clique throughout the years, but led to the rise of Jiang Zemin in the 90s, and then kind of countered Hu Jintao's power during that like reign of like peak corruption in the early 2000s. And this guy is the best example of peak corruption. So while he was party secretary of Shanghai, he was responsible for an annual economic growth of 13% every year, mostly through massive state investment into infrastructure. He basically oversaw the construction of a large part of the Shanghai Metro, the Shanghai Suburban Railway, the Shanghai World Expo. You know the World Expo?
Yeah, of course.
Do you know the China Pavilion of the World Expo?
No.
It cost $220 million. So
compare it to the F1 track.
Exactly. They spent half an F1 track on an expo. No, not an expo, on a pavilion at an expo, which is now
that's crazy.
The China Art Museum. He was a big fan of Shanghai culture, including the Shanghai dialect, which he tried to enshrine in the local party. he massively invested in the local football team, Shanghai Shenhua, to the point where he was going to every single home match and all of the team's practices, kind of watching from the grandstand. And one of my favorite bits of trivia is he tried, just before he got kicked out, he tried to build a maglev from Shanghai to Hangzhou, which they should have built.
Makes sense.
That would have been so fucking cool.
I mean, the distance from Shanghai to Hangzhou and right now is like half an hour by high-speed railway.
Yeah.
I think it cannot be like much more complicated.
I reckon they will eventually do a maglev.
They have the maglev line that connects the downtown Shanghai to the airport.
Yeah.
That is also, it takes like 10 minutes total train time.
Something really funny is that all of these massive infrastructure projects are owned by the Shanghai Jiushi Group, which is a partly state-owned holding company, which I guess this guy used to have links to.
As another note, I also have to mention that in the same case that this guy was convicted, another figure related to the Shanghai truck was convicted, which was Yu Qifei, the former manager of the Shanghai International Circuit. And again, apparently it was like a big corruption case throughout the whole city that affected many important figures.
Yes, the pension scheme I think is one part of it. So a lot of this money to build all of this infrastructure came from Shanghai's pension scheme.
Yeah, so it looks like everyone involved in the management of this project was getting money on the side from different sources.
This guy's brother ended up owning the Shanghai Shenhua football team, and his son ended up becoming a real estate mogul because all of his properties increased it tenfold in price.
Jesus Christ.
After this is before he's arrested for corruption. After he's the party secretary of Shanghai, he then gets promoted to the Politburo, which is not where you want to be as a very corrupt guy. He was arrested in...
Definitely no.
Before he was arrested, his most famous quote on the Politburo, according to this, is Chen opposed the Communist Party's long-held convention that Marxism serves as the guiding scientific principle. Rather, Chen claimed to rely upon all forms of science.
What does he mean?
Well, they say that Marxism is the guiding scientific principle of the Communist Party, which is like a slogan. It means the main rules we abide.
I understand it.
And he's like, yeah, but what about money? Like the other forms of science?
Yeah, exactly. What do you mean about all forms of science? I cannot imagine this guy saying like, I think actually quantum physics is more important than Marxism.
No. It's him opposing Marxism. But I like to interpret it as him saying like the science of getting bitches and earning money.
Like the dollar sign on his eyes.
The science of making your family members extremely rich.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean all this. The funny thing about all these corruption cases is like none of them they keep it like low key, you know?
No.
They are super extra about opposing the guiding principles of the country, the guiding principles of the party, and they have to show that like they're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know you're making money through this football team. Maybe you shouldn't go to even the practices.
Going to the practice and like, yes.
Let's go England, score some fucking goals.
He seems to me a very Boris Johnson English figure.
Like, okay, you're a crop guy.
Yeah.
Just don't let us know, at least, you know, you're being smart about it.
Incredibly, he's placed on house arrest during his corruption trial, which he spends in a mansion in Qinhuangdao, where he spent most of his time playing cards and reading. So he seems like a bit of a Puyi type figure.
He was extra till the end. I respect that at least.
Do you know where he served his prison sentence?
I just took a peek right now in Chongqing.
Beijing, Chongqing, which is where I live. So.
Wait, we should have gone to basically we recorded this like a few months earlier.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, when we were doing our notes, we thought he would be released next month, which would be incredible. We could time it with the release of the podcast, but it turns out he was released in 2025.
Shame.
Yeah.
Where must he be now? Where must he be now?
Probably watching Shanghai Shenhua games. I bet he's back in Shanghai watching.
He's watching the qualies right now.
It's probably two things he cared about. He's watching F1 and he's watching football. So, yeah.
Wish him luck with his football team. Well, it must not be his anymore. So, wish him luck. Like making money without corruption. In any case.
Who else are you wishing luck tomorrow in the Grand Prix?
Alonso.
Alonso.
He needs it.
Let's make our predictions.
It's black, man.
What's the Valtteri Bottas predictions? I think Alonso, and then Lance Stroll, and then George Russell.
Schumacher. He needs luck too.
He needs luck. We're all praying for him. How should we end this? I wanted to come up with our own guiding scientific.
I haven't found anything about the qualies right now. I thought people would be like commenting.
It might be on
Twitter.
It might be on at 4. But yeah.
Shanghai quali. Let me search again. There should be more info about it.
While he searches for that, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching. Next week's episode's topic has not been decided yet, but maybe we'll have a look at the comments.
No one is saying it. Okay, out in Q1.
Alonso.
They're all that.
Sainz,
He's
Albon,
out.
Alonso, Bottas, Stroll, Perez. At least we got 22 people.
At least Perez is out.
You know
too.
what I'm hoping? 22 people start the race tomorrow. We still haven't had any races that start with 22 people.